Welcome to my 1 year world tour. My world is 1 year old. I made it last November, and I want to make a whole world tour of my whole world on this copy of my world. I will mostly just walk by things and show stuff of interest and only talk when I feel like it's necessary. But first I'm going to show the newer buildings, starting with the 1 year tower I made just recently. That was the 1 year tower. It's not that big, but I just wanted to make a huge number 1. And next year I'll make a number 2, then a 3, then a 4, and so on. This next part of the world I had to remake because it got deleted kinda. The science lab, all of this and below it, as well as this. I have a video where I made this whole science lab if you want to watch it. But not the anomaly lab, which this is. This little field of cactus and this store I just started working on today. Although I did do a little bit of the store yesterday as well as the parking lot. This is the first of many islands I want to build random stuff on. That whole area that I've been building on is one whole island, just a really big one. So I want to build stuff on the smaller islands that surround it. This is my house I've been living at. The second one in the city I've been living at. This is one of my favorite little shops I made. And another one of my favorite buildings I made in this city. This is the first house I was living at. I still use it to store my items. I forgot I had spare storage up here, I'm not gonna lie. That is very useful to know. Glitched fishing rod, and my first milk, and golden sword. I like keeping the first of each of my item for the future museum I'm gonna build. Along with things like the fishing rod. The fishing rods. 27 of them. The first building I built in the city. Just a little shack to store all the sugar cane. It's empty now, but there was once a lot, so I just kind of used it all. Sorry if I'm kind of speeding through all of these, I'm just trying not to make it take too long. Some of these buildings I don't have too much to say. Just little houses and various buildings I feel like a city would have. This is one of my favorite houses I made in the city, probably. I like this room the most. I tried to decorate the beach with a lot of different things. A little volleyball field in case anyone wants to play some volleyball, you know? But I kinda think sand here might look better too, but I'm not sure. I'll walk down this way after too, once I finish showing everything else in this city. I built the lighthouse in both of my cities I have. This one is much better than the other one. A windmill I might have to redesign later. At least that one, or those two. This is part of the skull that was in the anomaly lab of another one of the sea creatures. And if we go to the other side, it's like the rib cage or skeleton of the creature, and a gold block is treasure. These are like 6 different building ruins I made underwater of an old town that got flooded and destroyed over time and by water. So this is the library. This is just a random house. This is another house. This is a store. It sells a bunch of different things. This is more like a old church that's inaccessible to really explore because it's kind of too covered up. This is a hidden treasure I made. An X to mark the spot. This is another one of those skeletons I made. This is the first one I made actually. an old abandoned tiny little house. Churches are really fun to make, although I kind of make them all the same, just a cobblestone cube, but I think they look nice like that, in classic Minecraft, at least. Now I'm gonna show my other city, so I'm gonna walk there. If you want to skip to seeing the next city, you can skip ahead a bit. This walk might take a little while. I'm probably not gonna talk when I'm walking, and I built this the other day. If you want to see the video of it, it just got uploaded today on my channel. Or yesterday, depends when I'm posting this. Now I'm at my InfDev city, Founderville. I I'll start by showing the first area, Spawn Valley. This is not the first building I made, it's that over there, which is my house. These are just the first buildings of this area, starting with this technically. This was all made in InfDev Minecraft, which came before Alpha and after InDev. This will eventually connect up to my Alpha city and my Beta city and so on. I might also make this go down here and connect to that. Only thing I'll change in the city is the railway. This is the sand pits. It used to be filled with sand, but I kinda mined it all out. But that's okay, cause I kinda wanted to for the build. I did leave a little bit of sand in here. This is one of the first things I started working on, cause it was that place I got a bunch of sand for all the glass I used for my builds. This is a pig spawner I got legitimately. You can mine monster spawners in this version and it will turn to pig spawners. Although I think this one stopped working, at least for now. The large furnace. And this is where I spawned in between these torches, this exact spot I spawned in the world, and this is where I always spawn. Also the InfDev sign, which everyone probably noticed. I made it for InfDev, I have one planned for Alpha as well. The lighthouse for this city. A lot more basic than the other one. Yin and Yang. And this is like a little, I don't even know, a wall I made. I also added all this water. I might extend it to connect it up to the ocean. These towers are mostly the same. I forgot to mention also, but this cave in this area is not Spawn Valley. This is the third area I'd consider, which is Classic Heights. The first area is technically my original house, which is not part of Spawn Valley. Rowlet pixel art. Kinda hard to see from here at night. This is one of the hidden bases. Another hidden base. A little restaurant I made. Also, if you're wondering why the furnace keeps on lighting even though I didn't light them, that's something you could do in infinite version to have a furnace that just stays like that forever. But it doesn't smelt anything like that. This is my starting house. This is the first little area I built, this little tower. Originally I was gonna have just 3 more of these little towers that it connects to in a little castle, but I decided to change each room. The first of all my items. So yeah, that's not supposed to happen, but I guess the fire got out of control. That's just because fire spreads is kinda changed and it got to my basement. Luckily this is a copy of the world. We're gonna ignore that though. And act like that's not there. I'm gonna just have to make sure to prevent that in my main world somehow. Which I could do. My storage room. My courtyard. Then that used to be the mine and the farm, which kind of had fire spread from the bottom, which is not good. That's gonna need refixing in my main world. Luckily this is a copy. The fire is probably still all the way down there in my main world, so I just gotta place some water going all the way down the mine, and it'll be good. So yeah, it's bred from that. If I update my world to future versions, fire spreads would change and it would not burn down. This is my first tree farm. This is the build height tower. It goes all the way to build height. Check that out after. This goes down to bedrock. Use it as a mine as well. This is just a storage room. I made this for when it was New Year's 2023 to 2024. I started the world in November. I guess I'll have to make something for when it turns 2025 in a couple months as well. Lol. This is the build height of old Minecraft. And this is what I named this little area after. Monument. And I made this whole area just because I wanted to build something around that monument and make it part of my city. This is 100% survival, by the way. There is no creative in these old versions. That was added in like beta 1.8 or 9, I think. another church in a similar style. This is supposed to be a watchtower. This police station is pretty small. There isn't much crime in my city, so obviously not much people really live in here. This is the final part of my city, and it's also the biggest part of it. I made the pool first before anything else here. A lot of this part of the city used to be mountains, so I had to mine it all down to make this. This I made for my birthday, a little cake. A gazebo along with a doctor's office. And a podium. This is an old house I made in another infinite world I had before. It's identical in the inside, except the chests do not have the same loot. And there was a much bigger pond on the outside of it, but I just made a small little one. This apartments are owned by this company, which is the sand melters from the sand pits earlier. Mostly this apartment has workers who work there or at the pits. Each of the 6 apartment rooms are the same, with minor exception of the TV have being on or off. This is like the CEO's bedroom, and below it was the office. This place might be haunted a little. These 2 buildings are identical as well. This is where my skeleton farm is. This used to all be a hill, although I dug it out. See what that is? That's part of the mountain I had to dig out, the part I left. That's where the skeleton farm is. It's not automatic, it cannot be yet. I cannot make one of those. Especially with alpha or infdev blocks and tools. I had a lot of fun designing that blimp. This is my museum. This is one of my bigger projects in my Minecraft world. If you want to know how to make one of those, you can check out my 52 Minecraft inf dev tips and tricks. A little sports field I made. I also have one in the other city behind the bakery and the greenhouse. The third apartments for the city. And definitely the best apartments for the city. All 6 of the apartment rooms are the exact same. A pyramid movie theater. Well, there was a motel earlier. This is the city's hotel and pool. Another pool. Only for people at the hotel, of course. I kinda love hotel pools, they're chill. I remember going to lots of them when I traveled to the USA before. Nice ones, the USA has really nice hotels. All 6 of these rooms are the exact same as well. The area I'm walking in was once just part of this mountain. Just all a huge mountain I had to mine out. This is a statue I made. It's one of the last things before being done. And it's the last build in this city. This is the city hall of my world. This is the leader castle. The leader of Spawn Valley. The leader of Classic Heights. And the leader of Monument. This is the mayor of all of Foundersville and the leader of Founders City, which is this little part. All of those little areas are all part of Foundersville. This is probably my favorite build in the whole city, probably the biggest one too, which is the mansion. I just put a random last name I found, then print a state. The entrance. And the living room. This is the basement bedroom. With a secret vault inside to hide all their money. This is the kitchen. There's some bowls, some pork chops, and some bread. Some plates on the table, as well as some candles. A little indoor farm that got destroyed by some animals before. Some swim trunks. And a little jacuzzi. This bedroom has its own washroom. This is a little art room where there's a canvas and an easel. Last for the mansion is the outside. A fountain, 3 little rocks in the yard and a pond, a garden shed, and then this is my favorite, the bomb shelter. That's all I really built in the city, except for one last thing I'll show off. Then I'll show the outskirts of the city. This is a secret house. It has a hidden saddle. It can only be found in dungeons in this version. So last up in my world, I kinda wanna show what's behind these walls. And on top of that hill, if you saw. Mining out the mountain and making these walls were probably the most time consuming part of this build, but I also think it makes the whole city a whole lot better. These builds aren't really part of this city, they're kind of like on the outskirts of it. I built them after I finished the rest of the city. And unlike the city where I'm done because I finished playing InfDev, I will continue to add on to the outskirts and add more buildings. Not too close, but close by to the main city, but they will not be considered part of the city. I mostly built all this area because I was working on my main city by digging out areas and I wanted to build some houses and stuff. So I just came to the outside of the city. This is the last thing I built before I updated to Alpha and started working on my Alpha city. This is my inventory, everything I was holding on to before I quit as well. And I would take it out and keep it, but I kind of want to keep it in the chest just to remember what I had. Although lots of that loot would be useful. I might take out those forever lit furnaces though, because those are valuable. And that's also everything in my world, so thank you for watching. This will be the end of it, but I'm gonna make some more videos this month. If you want to see more of the world and how it progresses and updates, please subscribe and stay tuned.